What's up, guys? All right. What's up? What's up? So, is it everywhere we look at, it looks like war. Everywhere we want to look at, everybody's talking about war. Hey, here we go. What's up? All right. It looks like everybody's talking about war. Bro, you took a bad hit or something. What? What's up, Caprello? Yeah. So, I know everybody's watching the news. I don't know if everybody, but war. Is it real? Imminent? Should we prepare for it? Even if you're not prepared for it, what about if it comes, right? Every Hispanic family has a crazy uncle like you. It does. It does. Yeah. It's needed, right? So, what's up, right? Is it war? Is it World War III coming? Is it things are gonna change in the future? So we don't know, right? We don't know exactly what's going to happen, right? You remember my Uncle Juan? I always wanted. Oh yeah, okay, good, right. So, what if a war comes, right? We've seen a lot of movies. We heard of it. We all went to school, right? We know what's up. We know some history, even though it's kind of fake, but we still know a little bit, right? And the reason I want to talk about war or about what's going to happen after or during war is because everybody's talking about it, and like it seems like it's serious for some reason, right? What's up? I'm new. I'm subscribed right now. What's going on? Thank you guys. Thank you for your support. So I'm Alex, and so my channel is based on not hate or love. It's based of use your brain, or somebody might use it for you, and increase your awareness, and your observation is your salvation, right? So whatever you're feeling, whatever you're seeing, that's your truth. That's what it's all about. My channel, at least. And I'm gonna be talking about what about if we go to war, right? What's going to happen? Because people say, I'm pro USA, I'm pro this, and it's good to be patriot, right? But war is not something that you have an outcome like 100%. It's not something that you wish for, but you prepare for, right? And it's like whenever you were in middle school, you didn't want to fight until somebody bullied you and you had to fight, right? Because he was bullying you and you were feeling some type of way. So, how can I start today? Hey, what's up? Oh, Jovan, right? So, I'm going to start with gender. I'm going to talk about gender to a certain extent, right? why gender matters, right? If you want to start, let's say you're lost, you're confused, you don't know where to start, I have a formula. Do you have my skin glowing? Let's just get to the prison. Let's just let all the people in prison fight for us. Well, a lot of people, if we go to war, a lot of people are going to be released, and a lot of people are not going to be released because of their high risk, right? That's how it is. In the American system, it's based on high risk on society, right? And of their criminal activity. I don't know exactly what will happen because I've never experienced that, but I know because I lived it. I did 9 years in federal prison. So not everybody is going to be killed. Not everybody is going to be released, but there's going to be a lot of going on, right? A lot of things going on. So we have to be like ready. Like, what am I going to do, right? Let's just, because people, I had this coworker said, I'm ready for war and I'm ready for whatever. And he's vaping, he's drinking Monster energy drinks. And I'm like, you can barely do 10 push-ups, right? Because war, it's a different animal. I've never been in war, but I've been in prison. It's a different animal over there, and I'm not saying it's like outside here, but guys, I love this country, but wishing to go to war is like trying to get gold out of the ground in 5 minutes of your research, right? So wishing to go to war, it's very naive and it's very disturbing, man. I don't know why people say I want to go to war just because they want to go to war, but we're here in your house and you're not over there, okay? So it's not easy to say I want to go to war just because you think you're capable of going to war. Like, war is something that you don't know the outcome of it, right? Right? Drop them off and say go crazy. It's difficult, man. We don't just, and if you think about it, the whole thing about going to war with people, it's their belief system. It's what they do, right? The influence they have with people, right? If somebody crazy down the street says, let's say somebody on your block claims that he's God or he's this and this, but nobody listens to him, he's no threat, right? But as soon as people start listening to this person or this belief, then there's a problem, right? And I think that's something that can be reversed. We can reverse engineering and say, like, man, we have the power as people, because people start getting into challenges and trouble once you start believing in something that is growing, right? If nobody believes in you, there's no problem. But if you're teaming up and there's not only tens but hundreds believing in your philosophy, then you start getting attention, right? From the government, from people, and then you start to be a problem, right? And I think war is something that we will never understand, like what will happen, but it happens, right? But at the end of the day, we need to know that wishing for war is not the right thing to do, right? because we don't know exactly what's going to happen. We don't know what's going on and what's the reason to go to war with somebody. That's the whole point. We think that we go to war because of injustice and being bullied or denied of self-expression, but we don't know exactly what it is that countries go to war with each other. And this is why I like to talk about this, right? Because technology plays always a role on wars, right? If I have technology, but I don't know how it works, I have to create a war, right? So I can try it on the enemy. But at the same time, simultaneously, I need to create a reason why I am creating a war with certain specific country. Because I need an explanation to the public, right? Send the lesbian first. Send the lesbian first. Oh my God, those lesbians, huh? So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Good thing, right? I don't believe in accidents. So the reason why we have so much lesbians, homosexuality, is because most population in around the world, we're not engaged in war, right? We're not fighting no more for nothing. There's just like a minimum percentage who's fighting a war for us. And people tend to develop depression, confusion. And this is one of the, to answer your question, yeah, lesbianism. Lesbianism, it's really a confusion, right? It's really a confusion. I've never met a lesbian who wants to be a woman. Most lesbians wants to be a man. So if they want to be a man, then that's mean they lack identity, right? And the thing about war, and I'm saying this because of my grandfather, the thing of a war, everybody doesn't have time to think of what they want to do. Instantaneously, it's just like instinct, something that just takes over you, and for some reason you know what to do, right? Women start doing that, men start doing over that, right? So we can't say that war, it's always negative. It's positive because it just like, it gives men something not only to believe, but to fight for, okay? And every man who fights for something, there's a woman who rewards that, okay? Always, it's always, you know? It's always laughing my ass out. It is true that you guys bring that up because lesbians, homosexuality, they have time to make up all that BS because there's no fighting, there's no people dying, right? And it's fucked up, right, to say that. But I've been analyzing with my grandfather, uncles, friends, co-workers, everybody, right? Whenever man is not involved in war, he starts to deny his identity. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy that when man stops fighting for something, now he thinks he can be a woman? Oh my God. I'm going to repeat this again, right? Wars shape the world. They do. And I know these days you cannot talk about races, about people. But at the end of the day, I don't know how many countries we have in the map in the world. We have like about like 350, 370 countries in the whole world, right? And it's not round, it's hollow. So war, it's the only thing that defines men and women. Listen to this. It's very fucked up. It's very fucked up. And I don't like it, but I have to say it because I've read from Napoleon to Stalin to Hitler to whoever, right? It's so crazy, Alexander the Great. So it's so crazy that men go to war, not women, okay? So if men are the only people who go to war, think about this, right? That means that women don't fight. Okay, understandable. So where am I going? Where am I going? Right? I'm going to answer your question. So lesbians is a fake copy of a man. It's not authentic. It cannot do nothing. And the proof is lesbians cannot have kids. Period. When there's no war, when there's no conflict, man is not engaged with another man in fighting, right? And I'm not gonna leave it just on lesbians, right? Homosexuality, no matter how much you do, you love, or whatever you think you're doing, you cannot procreate a human being unless there is a male and a female. Isn't that powerful though? I don't know why people fight that. I don't know why people have the courage to say, I have a theory. There's some statistics. There's some this, like, bro, if you cannot make a kid, you need to shut up and realize that you're living a lie, okay? It's only male and female. When they come together, they can fucking procreate, okay? And sustain the world. Not lesbians, not gay people, period, right? And to go back to what we started talking about, war takes care of that. War extracts your mission in life. Okay, who's going to war? Woman? Nah. No. They're waiting for the man coming from war. All right? Not the other way around. Okay? So as long as we have man in the earth, we always gonna have war. Because men like to compete with other men. Right? Who has more authority? Who has more technology? Who has more intelligence? Who has more territory? And we're gonna prove it, right? We're going to prove it. And I believe this is why we have so much depression on young men, because young men are not fighting no more. They're behind a screen playing video games, and that's fake. Well, Alex, that pays my bills. Okay, that pays your bills, but that doesn't complete your identity. All right? And if you lack of identity, it doesn't matter if it pays the bills, you're always gonna lack the most priority important thing, right? It's masculinity, right? It's male energy, right? People are lonely, that's why they do gay stuff. That's so true, man. Who are you, Caprello? You are very low testosterone. intellectual. You are very smart. You know what's up. It is true. It is true. It is true. Yeah. That's so true. 100%. So, what's the answer to acknowledge or to treat homosexuality? Young men have to be engaged, if not engaged, but preparing for war. That's why military is important, but at the same time, being away from women, it's not good. So it's always a balance, guys. It's always a balance. And it's just hard for me to illustrate how important it is to man to be surrounded by women. And I think this is why when men go to war overseas, they kill men, and sometimes they don't kill women because they keep them as a trophy. And at the same time, why not start a family with this woman, right? And it's in our nature. It's in our nature. You're not gonna say it's just as easy to kill a man to kill a woman. Absolutely not. There's something that stops you. There's something that tells you, you know what, bro? Why are you killing something that's gonna procreate, is gonna give you more today if you don't kill that person, right? But when you kill a man, you don't hesitate. But a woman, you see, like, you know what? Something can come out, something good can come out of her, right? This is why war is always something interesting, because there's so many things that nobody can explain because you have to be there. That's the thing. You know? It's just like life. You have to be there. And I'm not pro-war, but war is inevitable, though. It's inevitable, right? It's just, if you have a country, that means that somebody went to war. That's the whole point. Religious law. Religious law, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. So, war is just something that you have to accept, right? Prepare, train, and take the best out of it. What is it that you're gonna take out of war? Well, character, experience, right? Spoils, right? Territory, yeah, freedom. There's so many things, right? But I don't want to get distracted with other things, like going back to male and female. I think that war brings back the neutral setting of life, right? And it's sad that we have to fight and take other people's life just as they can take our lives, so we can know who we are. It's crazy. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know how to explain it, but it's so crazy, you know? That's why Christ said, pick up your sword. Well, he said, pick up your cross, you know? I don't know if it's a translation, right? But I don't personally believe in Christ, but I think it was a religion made by man so they can control population based on fear, because we are already eternal beings. Nobody has to die for your sins. Sins are nothing but lessons that have to be learned, right? Mistakes that you cannot do them again. Once you know that you want to grow in every angle, in every perspective, right? But that's me. I'm not saying that it's 100% truth, but it's my opinion based on my own knowledge and experience. So I don't believe in religion. But I'm not going to say that religion doesn't give you answers, because that's a lie. Religion does give you answers. Otherwise, it wouldn't be as powerful as it is. And we wouldn't be in war like we are right now, or we're going to. Because at the end of the day, it's a belief system. Okay? Republicans, Democrats, all this is just a religion belief, right? It is. It is a religious belief system, right? Iran, most of them is a Muslim country. United States of America, there's Muslims, but the majority are Christians. That's the whole thing. So religion, it's the priority why people go to war. And it shouldn't be a subject that should be like denied. But we think that we go to war because power struggle or some garbage. It's not. It's religious beliefs. Muslim thinks that white people are the devil, and then white people think that Muslims are the devil. It's just like back and forth. It's just crazy, right? That's why, like, truth cannot be written on paper. It cannot. No. Truth is something that you sustain on your brain, on your physical body. It cannot be written on paper. It's not. Because then it's watered down, because it has to be translated. And if it's translated, then it's watered down. It doesn't have the same power, because you have to learn the language to know what it really means in the root or mother language. Period. But going back to male and female, yeah, I really think that a lot of depression and young people are going through tough times is because they don't have something to do. And war gives purpose. War gives you the answers that you're looking for. You want to fight somebody and you say, like, I didn't know I was that strong. Or it can be the otherwise. I didn't know that I needed help on this area. I didn't know I was weak, right? So war is just something else. War is what has created the countries that we live in. War, the flag that we stand for, it's the result of going to war with other countries, and that we won. We declare independence, and this is what we stand for, right? So war is not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's something that it will happen again, and it will happen again, because it's just the cycle of life, right? And we should not avoid it. We should not glorify it, and we should not diminish it. We should not belittle it, but we should talk about something like something normal that is just like inevitable, right? And by knowing that, I think we know more about ourselves, because aggression is part of our nature. And this is why we have sports, right? Football, UFC, MMA, boxing, right? Because humans need to express their anger, their traumas, their beliefs, their opinions through something, right? So the people who have established the system, they're smart. They know what people lack and what people need at the end of the day, right? And we shouldn't be angry about that, right? It's all about design. It is true. Said hi. What's up, Cristiano Flores? All right, guys, let me go to the restroom real quick. I'll be back right now with you guys, all right? All right, guys. All right, it's all about design. It is, for the most part, right? For the most part, a lot of things are established before, just like the Katrina in Louisiana. Yeah, in prison, I met somebody who was already doing boxes to send to New Orleans or whatever that hurricane happened. 2 years before it happened, I'm like, what? It's crazy. It's crazy. You know, I already mentioned it. The earthquakes are not Mother Nature. It's just like they're just like pipelines underground that are driven and managed by people with technology, right? It's just like air pressure down the ground, and they know when to shake it and when to not. And it's very sad if if you just like take it like, man, we're just like what, like weak people, we can't do nothing about it. No, your awareness will put you on another level, right? Because whenever you will hear that, oh, Mother Nature, you will know, like, no, it's not Mother Nature, it was human, right? It was technology involved, right? Hurricanes, weather, acid rain. Oh, the rain, it comes from God. It doesn't. It comes from man. It's acid rain. It's created. So there's a lot of things that you start like, man, what's up, right? Are we in the point with some revolution? Are we? Do we need to do something? Yeah, you need to wake up, right? I'm from New Orleans. Okay, you know what's up. All that was premeditated. It was by design. And it was like I met somebody literally who was making boxes, right? To support, right? And donate stuff to New Orleans after the hurricane. But the bizarre thing, and it was like they were already making boxes, and this hurricane didn't even took place already. So they were doing boxes, they were preparing like 2 years before that happened. So there's technology. When people say, like, what about Jesus Christ, right? He said in the Bible that he's coming. It's a hologram, guys. It's a hologram. It's technology thrown to the air, right? This is how they kill a lot of Muslims. They throw Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad, in the air, and everybody goes to their knees and they swipe everybody up, right? It's technology. There's nothing else. Technology is not made by man. It's brought by aliens, right? And I know it's kind of like stupid. Like, aliens are real. They're real, but some of it they're not, because the government's it's catching up, and a lot of aliens that you might see in the air, they're really people with a custom. So it's hard to tell, right, these days, because you need to understand that the government, once the people start waking up, they need to do something about it. It's always been like that, okay? It's always been like that, right? I was in Katrina on Volpe Doctor in Chalmette, Louisiana. Got 12 water chopped our way out of attic. I was 11 years old, yes. And on that Katrina, they were killing a lot of black people too. They were, yeah. I did time for people who did that. So I'm not just pulling it out of my ass, or just like I read it somewhere. I did time with people who were there, right? A lot of private militaries were killing. When the Katrina was going on, a lot of people were killing people. A lot of mercenaries were killing everything, right? And this tells you, man, what's up with the world. This tells you, okay, what am I supposed to be doing, right? Am I supposed to be mad? Am I supposed to be just go out there and just like snap on people? No, no, no. This comes from somebody who has done time in very awful places. And I've learned that you don't have to break the law because you want money. Money has been the trap for almost everybody. Okay, guys? Money has been the trap for almost everybody because we live in a country that we have to pay bills and that we have to keep up with the neighbor, with the people on the left and the people on the right. And it's just kind of like psychology. It's inevitable. If you see your neighbor with a new car, if you see your neighbor with a different clothes, you see your neighbor with different things, like, okay, I need to have that. Because in our brain, it's like he's ready and prepared for what's coming in the future. This is how our brain translates everything new and sophisticated, right? So if you're not keeping up with the new, with the sophisticated thing, that means you're behind and you're old and you're not worth it. This is why comparison becomes the thing, right? These people are not stupid, man. These people are very smart, intelligent people that know humans more than we know ourselves. That's why I always preach and share co-workers, brother, families in my channel that we guys need to know who we are, okay? How we operate, what triggers us, what do we like, what don't we like, things like that, of that nature, right? You don't have to exaggerate. You just have to keep it real with you. Like, what is it that you want? What is it that you want? And you will find it and stick to that, right? New Orleans is a shithole now. Yeah, they tried to do it, and that's the agenda of doing that. I don't know exactly why. People said, this is like 2-3 theories, right? I'm gonna share one of them. One of them is, they said that black people were practicing voodoo there. A lot of African ancestry, a lot of African DNA was living there, and they had to get rid of that. Another theory is because there's some legacy, there's some contract, there's something going on with France, with Europe, the Louisiana, it's on the coast. I don't know exactly what it is, but I'm not gonna tell you guys exactly, but I heard of many things, and sometimes you just have to stop. You need to stop and step away and breathe and say, you know what? Listening to many things is just gonna get me more confused. So you have to make a decision wherever you're at and say, you know what? I just need to calm down and start analyzing what's in front of me. We have to take a breath, stop analyzing the whole world, and start analyzing what's in front of you, right? This is how you gain leverage, and you come back to your nature, your natural status, to get to know more about who you are and where you are, right? And I found that interesting, right? But other than Louisiana, there's other places that have been invaded, and there's a lot of things going on, right, guys? So it's not about Louisiana, but it was Louisiana. And they're gonna call you and they're gonna tell you that you need help. I'm feeling the need to share with people that whenever you have a phone call or a visit from people that tells you that you need a new start in life and you need to forget whatever you have learned, they're half true. They're not lying in everything, right? But the thing is that you cannot forget everything that you went through, because whatever you have went through got you there, got you here, right? So you need to be careful with certain people, groups, persons, family. They want to take you out of your grid, out of your own radar, right? You have your own antenna who can tell you what's going on, right? But sometimes we get bombarded with so much information that we lose track of that, right? How do we come back? You stop what you're doing, you take a break, and you start breathing. Pay attention. Don't rush, right? Don't try to figure out everything. Just say, where do you want to go? Ask yourself and tell yourself, where do you want to go? What do you want to know? Okay? Softly, with no rush. Serendipity will answer that for you, right? There's no law of attraction, only serendipity. Law of attraction, it's an industry, just like the music industry. They promise you riches if you think positive, but how many of us have think positive for so many months and years and nothing happens? It's an industry that generates money from people. And that's okay, right? That's okay. You don't have to be mad at people because they're taking advantage of you, right? If you find out that somebody's taking advantage of you, all you have to do is step back and say, you're no longer going to take advantage of me, right? And direct your focus on another thing. And that's it. You don't have to argue, you don't have to fight back, right? Because it's where you're generating your attention that creates your weakness or your strength. And yeah, guys, let's go back to the main subject, right? War. War. We don't know what's gonna come from it, but guys, don't lose composure, right? Stay calm. And if I have something to tell you, it's whatever works not only for your country, for this country, but whatever works for everybody around the world, whatever is healthy, whatever is good for everybody for the most part, this is what you're gonna fight for, okay? And sometimes that answer is not gonna come from nobody, but from within yourself. And don't hesitate to follow that, right? Don't hesitate. Asking questions is good, but there's a time that you need to stop asking questions and you have to give answers, okay? You cannot deny that you have grown to the point that you can speak out of what you have experienced and learned. And you shouldn't feel ashamed of that, right? You shouldn't. You shouldn't feel ashamed of speaking your truth just because you don't have a diploma, be my man, just because you don't have a diploma made by men, okay? Answers they come from you. When you're calm, where you're not panicking, and when you're really genuine, your genuine approach is to know what's really going on with the country, with the world, okay? And you're going to have an answer. You're going to. It's inevitable, right? But you cannot panic or lose composure. Just ask yourself, what's my path? What am I supposed to be doing at this pivotal moment in history, in my life? I need an answer, right? Don't rush it, okay? But don't ignore it either. And you will have your answer, and start living it, okay? Start living it. And I'm gonna wrap it up with this. War is inevitable. It brings positive and negative, right? But one thing for sure is something that it needs to happen, because it brings us people, humanity, back to level one. Because whenever you're lost up in the stairs, up in the spiral, you don't know where to go, you tend to make decisions based on random emotions. But when we are brought back to zero, then we know that the next step is one. And from there, we can create a better future, okay? And I think that we're there. And do your best to be yourself, and we will succeed when everybody can express their own truth. Thank you, guys.